Welcome to the Kitchen Remodel Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Robin Johnson, and I can't wait to chat with you about one of the most exciting topics ever. Kitchen design, right? I mean, who doesn't dream of remodeling their kitchen? Friends, if you're looking to up-level the most important room in your home, I am so glad you're here. As an award-winning designer of over 20 years, kitchens are my absolute favorite room in the house. Join me to discover the latest design trends, color palettes, and what you should know when it comes to choosing a layout, cabinetry, appliances, and so much more. With hundreds of decisions to be made and thousands of dollars on the line, you won't want to miss an episode. Let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about something that most people don't always think about when it comes to kitchen design, and that is sustainability. And I think it's kind of seen as sometimes a negative limitation that limits the material choices you might have and also adds additional cost. So I think a lot of times that we just kind of skip over it. But today I really want to shine some light on some ways that you as homeowners can think about incorporating sustainable design into your kitchen and kind of creating some awareness for all of us. And you may already have some of this in your kitchen and just haven't really thought about it that way. So let's kind of go through some ways that you can include this in your kitchen, and we're going to talk about the costs as well. So when you choose to design a sustainable kitchen, it's going to last longer. It's going to often align with local suppliers. It's going to create less impact on the environment and the planet. It's going to be healthier for you and your family inside your home. And you're not going to have to remodel again in 10 years because you're going to have designed for longevity. We're going to start with the obvious material, which is wood. And obviously we use wood for cabinetry and for flooring in our kitchens, and we use a lot of it. Now, one way that you can choose a sustainable option is to look for a certification that's called FSC, which stands for Forest Stewardship Council. And what this is, it's an environmental label and regulation that requires the forests to have minimal impact. Wildlife habitat has to be protected. Old growth areas are preserved. Natural waterways and soil health have to be maintained. No toxic pesticides or hazardous chemicals are used. And the workers that are working the land have to be paid fair wages and be provided safe working conditions. So it's not only environmentally friendly, it's also ethical, which is really cool. The FSC standards require that the forests are regenerated naturally and the trees are replanted so that the ecosystem can continue on long term. And that's what we want. So when you're looking for cabinetry lines, you can oftentimes go on a manufacturer's website and look to see if it's FSC certified. Or also, if you're maybe at a store or showroom and you're shopping for samples, you can talk to employees that work there or look on the back of the sample to see if there's a label. I mean, I'm sure that if the company's gone through the hoops of creating this product, they're going to want to make sure that they scream it from the mountaintop. So it should be, pretty clear, and you should be able to find it. Using solid wood is definitely more sustainable than using, MDF or things like that just don't break down over time and can off-gas. So definitely solid wood is the way to go, whether it's, a semi-custom line you're looking at, custom product line, or even a factory product line. I carry a a factory line that I'm a big fan of, and they are FSC certified. And I love reading about the story and all the things that they do to kind of give back and make sure that we're going to have, forests around for years to come. And the other area is flooring that I mentioned, and flooring is the same. If you're looking for solid wood or engineered wood, you can look for this label, this regulation that's in place, and try and purchase woods that are certified. Now, the next way, another environmentally friendly method for choosing cabinets and flooring would be to use reclaimed or recycled wood. And this simply means that the material already exists and you are going to be repurposing it instead of cutting down new trees. Now, this could be cabinets or flooring from old or historic homes, barns, industrial buildings, or warehouses. And the pros are they can be really beautiful. They can have a lot of unique character and come with a really fun story to tell. I'll tell you that we have heart pine floors in our house from an old textile mill, and they are the first thing that people notice when they come to our home. They just love our floors. So it really is worth looking into. Another pro is obviously it reduces demand for new tree harvesting and it keeps demolition materials out of landfills. So you're reusing and repurposing materials that already exist. The cons, well, the price and availability can vary, and it's going to require you to get a little more creative and put in a little more research. But a good tip, you can start by looking on places like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and Etsy. And you can also check your community for nearby salvage yards. And they can be amazing and really fun places to shop for unique beams, mantles, panels for accent walls, any kind of architectural element. And you might find flooring or cabinets, or they may know of a place that you can go and source some. So definitely Google it. There are many websites out there that specialize in reclaimed cabinetry and floors that you can look into. And then let's talk about the cost of this. So it's hard to give exact numbers to you, and I did some research, and it really depends because it depends on where the material is being sourced from, the species and quality of the wood, if there's going to be any milling or prep work required, and the transportation costs. But from general research, reclaimed wood can run about 20 to 50% more for cabinetry and 30 to 60% more for flooring. But don't hold me to it exactly. Shop around, but that's kind of where I came in. And you have to remember that the cost that you're paying is also a huge savings to the environment. So you have to kind of balance that out. If you're on a tighter budget, I would start looking for factory cabinet lines that have the FCS certification. And you can also introduce reclaimed wood, maybe in smaller ways, like for ceiling beams, a pantry floor, open shelving in your kitchen, and get that character without paying for, a whole set of cabinetry. Okay, next I want to talk about VOCs because that's very important in sustainable kitchen design. What is a VOC? It's a volatile organic compound. And they're chemicals that off-gas, meaning that they evaporate into the air and they come into your kitchen through materials like cabinet finishes, paint, flooring adhesives, engineered wood cores, sealers, stains, caulks, and even some countertops. That new remodel smell, well, that is off-gassing. And that's what you don't want. Low VOC products have reduced emissions and will definitely help to offset this. And then there are zero VOC emissions, which are even lower. And why does this matter in your kitchen? Well, kitchens are typically enclosed spaces. They're frequently warm from cooking, and heat increases off-gassing. And it's a central gathering space in your home. So even low level VOCs, well, they kind of matter here a lot. And for families with asthma, allergies, young children, and pets, indoor air quality becomes an even bigger deal. So here's some ways that you can look for low VOC materials. Paint is the easiest place to start. Look for zero VOC formulas. You can also look for Green Guard certifications. There's Green Guard and there's Green Guard Gold. And you can look for water-based over oil-based paints if that works for your home. A low VOC paint might cost $5 to $15 more per gallon, but that's really a small price to pay in the scope of your full remodel if it's going to, really help with emissions. If you're thinking of remodeling in 2026, my Kitchen Remodel Made Easy course is your guide to save time, money, avoid costly mistakes, and take your kitchen design to the next level. If you can't afford to hire a designer, you cannot afford to not buy this course. The other area that you have to watch for is adhesives, which is a sneaky category. And even if you choose low VOC cabinets and flooring, the adhesives in caulk, construction, flooring glue, subfloor leveling compound, all of that can contain VOCs. A lot of times you have to just ask your contractor, make them aware this matters to me. Are you using a low VOC adhesive for this? And a lot of times they can say, okay, and they'll get it for you. So you have to ask. And then obviously during construction, you don't want to forget about the ventilation, and you want to, run your HVAC or open windows. You can use air purifiers in the room and allow a few days for air to fully circulate before you get back in that kitchen. And the third area I wanted to cover is countertops, because also you have sustainable options there. We're going to look at things like where the material is coming from, how is it manufactured, what does it emit when it's in my home, and how long is the material going to last overall. Because sustainability isn't just about being a natural material, it's also about the life cycle. So natural stone obviously is natural. It's a natural material. There are no synthetic binders. It's extremely durable, and it can last for 30 years and beyond and can be repurposed. The VOC risks mainly come from the sealers, epoxies, and installation adhesives. So to improve in this category, you can ask about domestically sourced stone, and you can ask for low VOC sealers to help lower the emissions. And obviously, if you want to keep it a long, long time, go for a timeless color. And then there's quartz. And quartz, that would include brands like Cambria and Silestone. And these are 90% usually crushed natural stone mixed with 7 to 10% resin binders that are manufactured in factories. Now, the resins are cured at high heat during manufacturing, so the off-gassing after installation is very minimal. The pros of quartz, well, it's extremely durable, it's non-porous, so there's no annual sealing needed, long lifespan, and often you'll find them that carry the Green Guard certification I mentioned earlier. Things that you might need to consider or think about would be any petroleum-based binders. How energy intensive is it to manufacture this stone? And all of that kind of varies by brand. But you want to look for a Green Guard certification if possible. And certified quartz can perform very, very well indoors. And then there is recycled glass. Pros of recycled glass, well, it diverts waste from landfills because the product itself is made from all kinds of glass that's been collected. It's unique in its appearance, and it's often locally fabricated, which is great. The cons of it, well, it can be pretty darn expensive. There can be some resin-based versions that contain binders, so just know that. And cement versions do require sealing. Then there's butcher block. Butcher block, if FCS certified, can be very renewable. It can be reclaimed, and it can also be locally sourced. It does require maintenance and is not ideal around sinks. So if you're going to consider including it, you wanted to use it on islands or baking zones and areas like that. And the last area that I want to review is energy efficient lighting and appliances. We've talked about materials, wood, VOCs, countertops, but sustainability also includes how your kitchen functions on a daily basis. how much energy it takes to run your kitchen. Well, lighting, that is a very easy, sustainable upgrade. It's simple. If you're not using LED lighting in your kitchen renovation, you should be. LED lights use up to 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs. They last significantly longer, often 15 to 25 years. They produce less heat and they lower your utility bills over time. And here's something that most people don't think about. Less heat means less strain on your HVAC system, especially in warmer climates. So switching to LED recessed lights under cabinet lighting and decorative fixtures is one of the simplest sustainable decisions that you can make. And today's LEDs, well, they're beautiful. There's warm tones, cool tones, any tone. They're dimmable and they offer layered lighting options. There's really no design compromise anymore. And then, of course, having natural light from windows, well, that's a great way to save on energy cost as well in your kitchen design plan. And then finally, Energy Star appliances. When you see the Energy Star label, it means the appliance meets strict efficiency guidelines set by the EPA. It typically includes using less electricity, less water, especially for dishwashers. It lowers your long-term utility bills, and it reduces the overall energy demand. For example, an Energy Star dishwasher can use significantly less water per cycle compared to older models. And when you add that up over 10 to 15 years, well, that's thousands of gallons saved. And then there's the other conversation that I love to mention, which is induction cooktops. Induction uses electricity more efficiently, it heats faster, and it produces no indoor combustion emissions like its friend gas. It improves indoor air quality. Gas cooking, on the other hand, releases combustion byproducts into the air. This doesn't mean that gas is bad, but if we're talking sustainability and indoor air quality, induction will be the better option. What about cost? LED lighting is now often comparable in price to traditional lighting and lasts much longer, so that's really a no-brainer. Energy Star appliances, well, they may cost slightly more upfront, but they typically pay you back over time in energy savings. And remember, these are appliances that you're going to be using daily for hopefully a decade or longer. So it's a long-term strategy when it comes to sustainable design. So let's wrap up some of today's topics that we covered in our conversation. We discussed how to look for FSC-certified wood for cabinetry and floors, why it's important to shop for low VOC paint, and to remember to ask your contractor about low or zero emission adhesives during the construction portion. We covered different countertop options that you can choose from, and we also talked about cost estimates and places to shop for sustainable materials where you live. And lastly, we covered LED lighting and energy efficient appliances. And I'm betting that you have more of these in your kitchen than you thought. So let me leave you with this. Sustainable kitchen design doesn't mean sacrificing style or blowing your budget. It means asking better questions. Is this product environmentally friendly? Do I know where it comes from? Will it last me 20 years or longer? Is it emitting into my home? Is there a lower impact option that still will fit my design? And will it save money in the long run through efficiency? You don't have to overhaul everything. Even one or two intentional decisions can move the needle forward. The most sustainable kitchen, well, it's the one designed thoughtfully enough that you don't feel you have to redo it anytime soon. And that, friends, is something I know you can get behind. If this episode has you thinking about materials that you might be choosing for an upcoming project, that's exactly what we cover in my Kitchen Remodel Made Easy course. I walk you step by step through how to plan your layout, evaluate materials, set a realistic budget, and avoid making expensive mistakes so you remodel once and you remodel well. You can find all the details in the show notes below or on my website, and I'll be back for more kitchen design conversations with you in a couple weeks. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to the Kitchen Remodel Made Easy podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or share your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. Head over to my Instagram page at Robin Johnson Interiors and send me a DM. If you're curious how to get started on your own remodeling journey, I have a free resource that you can download called the Kitchen Remodel Starter Kit in the show notes below, or you can head to my website and grab it there on the front page. Friends, if you enjoyed today's podcast and you can't wait to hear more, please leave a raving review to help others find me. And if you didn't, well, don't worry about it. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back soon for more kitchen design conversations.